So that last video I ended up putting up ended up doing honestly a lot better than I thought it would end up doing. I really was not expecting that. Because for like the past year and a half, I would say, this channel has just constantly been getting buried. And anytime something gets big on this channel, it just, I don't know. There's a certain feeling about it, and I attribute a lot of these feelings to the other channel that I have that has effectively died. So, for context, I don't really post anything in there, anything over there anymore because it's kind of dead, but I used to run the channel ZetaByt, which used to post like meme edits and stuff, and I got really caught up in Mind Song edits, right? And the channel basically, it did really well while those types of edits were popular, and then the moment those edits died, the moment those edits stopped being popular, that channel just completely fell off. So anytime a video on here does particularly well, because that I attribute most of ZetaByt's issues to being pigeonholed into a particular niche and then not really being able to go further than that. And anytime a video on this channel gets big, I get really worried that that exact thing is gonna happen. I worry that the cycle's gonna repeat itself, which is why from the get-go I say from the get-go, but this we'll get to that soon. I really don't want to be pigeonholed into a niche again because it's already happened. So if you were wondering why some of the responses in the last thing seemed kind of off, that is why. I was having almost war flashbacks or PTSD flashbacks of that particular event happening. So yeah, I guess proper introductions. Hey, hi, I am ZetaByt. I like to consider myself what would the term be? A variety creator, variety player. I play a lot of games when I can. Whatever catches my fancy at the time. It changes depending on what I'm interested in. For the most part, there's one particular mainstay on this channel that I'm surprised has managed to stick around as long as it has without hitting burnout. A bit of background history. I think this channel originally got its start in Yu-Gi-Oh videos. So I don't play Yu-Gi-Oh much anymore, but I used to be a very active player around the oh man, what format was that? Hat format, I think? Hand Artifact Trap Tricks format, Primal Origin format. I think I started getting active around then, and then I stuck around for the Duelist Alliance era, and stopped playing right before Zodiacs came out. Because I knew the game was going to take a drastic left turn into some shenanigans that I wasn't a fan of, and I was right. So it's good that I got out. So when I started to get out of that, I switched the content that the channel was posting into just general gameplay stuff. I think the first general gameplay stuff that I uploaded was Fallout content. Not much, but I think it was a couple of Fallout 3 videos. One of those does shockingly well. It randomly surges in views once every couple of months, and I don't understand it personally. I've been tempted to private that video many times because I think that video has hexed the entire channel. I did New Vegas for a bit, occasionally coming back to it, even though apparently the Legion run was the only thing that actually did particularly well with that. I don't get it, man. I don't understand it. I will say the Legion in New Vegas has a very interesting playthrough, kind of, in that the playthrough is effectively just you're burning down the entire Mojave. I guess that's like kind of mildly interesting. And then I think after that, there was a couple of things that I did after that. I think I did like the Binding of Isaac for a bit. Didn't really go anywhere. I did some GTA stuff for a bit. That didn't go anywhere. But moving on from that there was like the Fallout era. There was like the era of just trying different things because I was bored. And then there was the Stalker era, where I got really into the Stalker series. Particularly, I got really into, I think it was Call of Chernobyl, which is... Call of Chernobyl, it's like a mod that takes all the base games and melds them into one giant, like, sandbox thing. It's a cool mod for the time. Doesn't really hold up very well anymore, but it was cool. I tried, I think it was Dead Air for a bit. I don't think those videos are up anymore, but I remember Dead Air being kind of borked. You could do some really weird shenanigans with like melee weapons and that, from what I remember. And then I got into the big one, which was Anomaly. I think in terms of the general amount of content on the channel, I think Anomaly makes up like a quarter of the like content, which is surprising, but I don't mind that one too much because, you know, while I was doing Anomaly, I could do other things on top of that. I wasn't just stuck with Anomaly for a bit. This was sort of when I was trying to mix more than one playthrough into a week so that I wouldn't hit burnout. And I mean, it worked for a bit until I would say last year. I don't know, something changed last year and I just wasn't really feeling it. But yeah, so I did Anomaly for... I did Anomaly and I still do Anomaly for, you know, I did that for a bit, and I'm still doing it, but I'm like trying to work out a mod list that, well, works, for the next major run of that, which I don't know when that'll be at this point. There was that bit there where I was playing like Noida, and to be quite honest, I think that particular sequence of events with Noida was possibly the tipping point, because I've noticed and I've reflected a bit on that. I think Noida broke me. In like a very weird way, I think Noida broke me. And I don't know if I ever fully recovered from that. There was that bit there where I played Dead Cells, and I'll just be upfront with Dead Cells. I'm stuck on 3 boss cells, and I can't seem to really get farther than that. I think, and it's disappointing because the quote-unquote true ending of Dead Cells is locked behind having to get these boss cells. You need to get 5 of them. I'm on 3, and the game is just starting to get unbearably hard. Am I forgetting anything? Oh yeah, Wolfenstein. I was doing Wolfenstein 2009 for a bit. I still need to finish that. I think I'm really close to completing it. I think the new map, I don't think the new section is anywhere near as long as the first one, so I might just try to blaze through that. I started Watch Dogs, the DLC Bad Blood, I think is what it's called, something like that. The T-Bone DLC. I haven't touched that since I uploaded the last video, so it's been a while. And to be quite honest, I don't know if I'll go back to it because, I mean, I might, just because I don't like leaving loose ends on my channel. I know I say that, even though there's like, I think a couple series that do have loose ends. I don't like leaving loose ends on playthroughs, it bugs me. And then I got into Quake through my Twitch channel, the live streams that I do on Twitch. I got into Quake and a bunch of retro FPS games from that, because I'll just be completely honest, I don't know how to edit those down. I know some people have figured that out. I'm not one of those people. I think the most people I've seen from any of those that, like, no, actually, I don't think I've ever uploaded any of the retro FPSs that I play on Twitch to the main channel, have I? I think I did Quake, the first Quake. And I don't think I did anything after that. I had to look. But then through Quake, I got into Quake mapping. And that has ended up being a bit of an interesting hobby. Which, on that note, I might actually do a thing. Oh, hey. The Walrein sold, that's neat. I might end up doing a thing related to that soon. Because I've been sitting on a lot of scrapped projects that I don't think will go anywhere. I have been tempted to go into detail about the different scrapped projects that I have for Quake and potentially releasing them in their current state with the map file to see if, you know, anybody wants to, like, mess with them. I don't know how that would go over. I don't even know how to organize that, to be honest, but it's definitely something I want to look into, because I don't really, in terms of Quake, to be quite honest, I don't really like waste. It bugs me when I have that much scraps just kind of sitting around not doing anything. I know some people in the Quake mapping community, it doesn't bug them. It kind of does for me, personally. So yeah, all the introductions and stuff aside, reintroduction. Actually, I don't know if I've ever done introductions before on this channel. Generally, I just kind of uploaded things and didn't really care too much. I wanted to move on to what this video is mostly going to be about, which is the small, like, wish list of things that I wanted added to this game. There's like 3 things in total. It's not like a large list, I don't think. But I wanted to start off with the very first thing. I think I've pitched this idea before, and I don't remember what happened to it. This was many, many years ago. I think before, like, they even added this feature. I don't remember. I pitched an idea a while back when, you know, breeding was like the big thing. I pitched this idea for a new filter for the PokeDex that filters the Pokemon by egg group, right? Because, and maybe I and, like, the Iron Men in this game, because apparently this game does have, like, an Iron Man community. I did not know that, but I feel like we would be the only people that, you know, actually, no, I can't even say that. So I don't buy my breeders most of the time. I do go out and, like, actively farm them myself when I can. And I would really like to have a tool that is easily accessible where I can just filter the Pokédex by egg group, right? Because, and here's why, right? So let's say that we want to do this the way that we'd normally have to do this. If I wanted to know what egg group Pokemon, like what Pokemon for a certain egg group. Sorry, I'm like going off, like I don't have like a script or anything. I don't know how to do scripts very well. And I've never really had to read off of a script. So anyway, if we wanted to like figure out what the best Pokemon for an egg group to catch would be we have to do like this weird thing where we open up the GTL and we go to their advanced like functions for like filters and stuff. We go by egg group. Let's just, I don't know, let's just pick dragon. I already know what the best dragon breeder is. It's Magikarp. We go here, and as you can see, it's not really sorted in any way for me to go, okay, this is common, I can go for this. No, I have to like sift through this to like look and see if anything stands out as a Pokemon. Like you see this Magikarp here, I have to like, this is page 7, by the way. I have to like sift through the GTL to figure out, like look at the list and figure out, hey, this Pokemon could be common. Is it common? It is very common. This is what I have to do every time I like want to find a particular breeder. I mean, I could use like Bulbapedia, but like, I would like to have a tool in game to do this rather than having to go out of the game and go onto a site that has like a weird verification check now. I don't know what that's about. That's a new thing. And I would just like to have a tool in game specifically for this that would filter the PokeDex by egg group rather than having to do this or having to go to like Bulbapedia to like figure it out. Personally, it's just like a quality of life thing, I think. So yeah, that's like the first thing that I wanted in this game. Moving on to the second thing, which is actually like 3 separate things, I guess technically. We're gonna start with the first 2 that I think should have been added when they added more filters to the GTL. So, you know, you have like this like GTL for like Pokemon and stuff. You go here, you go more filters, you have like all this stuff. You can like look for 2012s, you can like look for 2013s. You know, these are like cool functions. I'll give them credit. I really wish there was, so I wanted like 2 features for this that are not here. I wanted a location filter and I wanted an OT filter. The location filter I think should be like self-explanatory. If you like go, there probably won't be any, but like this here, this is, you know, it's a North Pole hatched Hydreigon from 2017. If I wanted to like look for North Pole Pokemon, I have to do like this weird thing where I have to like go here and I just kind of have to again sift through until I find potentially a North Pole Pokemon. I know the chances are extremely low, but it's the point. Like, I really wish there was a way to like a text filter even, where it would like cross-reference the locations of a Pokemon in this information tab, and then filter out things that don't match the part here. Like, yeah, that don't like match like the hatch or caught locations. And I mentioned the OT thing. There's like certain OTs that I've been like kind of looking for, even though, you know, I don't really have like the money to buy them, I don't think, because they'd be kind of expensive. Notably Patrick OT. Patrick is like an old like moderator of the game. Possibly the first, actually. I'm not sure. I'd have to look into that. He was around for a while. I think he stopped playing like before Hoenn was introduced, like, so I think he stopped playing like 2014, roughly. Very old moderator. Very scary moderator too, but extreme, like an older one, yeah. I would like to be able to have a filter that, you know, it would do what the like North Pole thing would do, where it like sifts through and filters things out that don't match an OT. I just think these would be handy things to have, because, you know, you have people like me who would look for specific OTs, but again, they have to like kind of trawl through this whole thing and just hope that they manage to randomly come across one, or they have to like wait for trade chat or like the trade forums to post one, and I don't think that's a particularly good system, personally. I would like to be able to go through the GTL in like a text search format and be able to like filter out anything that doesn't match this or this, personally. Right, and the second one, I want to be able to search, I want to be able to filter vanities by color. This is a weird one that I have never understood why this isn't in the game. So like you look up, I'm gonna just use one as an example. Let's go with the PokeMMO cap. As you can see, we have like different colors here. We have like lime, we have dark lime, lime again, dark green, light orange. We have like all these different colors of PokeMMO caps, but there is no way to filter out a color that you would want, and you can't do like this. The moment you put in the parentheses, all the entries just go away, because that's not part of the item name, right? So I really wish there was like a filter here for color, because I'm pretty sure, and I don't know if this has changed. Right, let me just move real quick. But yeah, so continuing, I don't know if this has ever been changed because I haven't had to like recolor an outfit using dyes, but I'm pretty sure, like when I played at least, when I did like the whole recoloring things using dyes and stuff, they had a set series of colors that you would pick from. Why can't they just do that with the GTL filters? Why can't they just have like a set list of colors that it goes through? Because very clearly, you have the name of the color, like even the names of the colors right here. Why can't you just have like a filter that has all of the colors listed? When you pick one, it would then filter out all of the, it would like filter out and leave only the color that you have selected. Why isn't this a thing? This seems like this would be really simple to implement, but maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. Right, and I'm coming back to this the next day because I think in the initial recording for this, I think I come off as like a bit angry. I'm not so much angry as I am frustrated with this one. This is a change that I've wanted in the game for a while, and they have rejected it every time. I want the Pumpking boss rewards to be tradable. Right, so every Halloween they have like the boss event with the Pumpking, right? You get like these things here. The Pumpkin backpack was 2015, this was 2019, this was 2016, you know? You get like these one-time vanities. They're untradeable. I don't like that. I don't like that. At the time, I think the logic kind of made sense, but looking at this now, I don't think the logic quite holds up as much as they think it does. So, just like a brief history of the Pumpking in general. The Pumpking has always been kind of a pain in the rear to fight. They buffed him over time to the point where he's just kind of really not fun to fight. He's a very tedious boss. I'm sorry. He's always kind of been like that. It kind of became a meme for a bit that they would just randomly buff the Pumpking, and it just makes the boss unfun to fight. Very tedious boss, but you get these rewards for killing the boss, right? Thing is, not that many players actually, unless there's like a cheese strat for it, which they normally buff to the point where there's no cheese strats, what ends up happening is a low percentage of players actually end up getting the boss reward, right? This happened in 2015. I don't think that many players actually got the Pumpkin backpack. I don't think that many players got the hockey mask, or even like the pinstripe suit, but I personally don't really like these items, the pinstripe suit and the Pumpkin backpack in particular. I think this is alright. I don't have the spooky hands. I basically gave up that year. Even though the spooky hands is like a really cool vanity, I don't have it, again, because I gave up that year. I just didn't want to fight it. I didn't have the patience for it. I don't like these. I never wear them. If I could, I would sell them to somebody that would actually probably wear them, but I can't because they're untradeable. And as I said, I don't think the logic that they have, which is that, from what I remember, they want these items to be quote-unquote special. They don't want people to mass farm the items, supposedly. And the reason I say that logic doesn't hold up as much as they think it does is because, you know, I think it was like 2018 they introduced the Pumpking goodie bag, specifically so people could farm the Pumpking. So right there, that immediately like kind of contradicts their logic. They introduced particles, which that also bugs me, the particles. We're just gonna go through the particles here. We're gonna use like my favorite one to use is the Pumpkin's Treat particle. Go like lowest price, 7 mil. This is the only particle this has, and it was the exclusive reward for beating the Pumpkin that year. And it's 7 mil. But I'm not allowed to sell my vanity. I'm not allowed to sell it. But players are allowed to do this, right? And there's an even more egregious one to me that stands out in relation to this. Because they did the anniversary event, right? There's a one-time reward in that event that is supposedly not coming back. We'll go alphas. If you know what I'm talking about, you immediately know where I'm going with this. We'll go alphas. We search for this. These were one-time rewards for beating the real you, I think is what it was, that event. You would beat the boss in that event and you would get one of these. It was either this, a Squirtle. It was either Bulbasaur, Squirtle, or Charmander. And these are tradable. These are one-time boss rewards that are tradable. I thought you wanted these to be special. You could have very easily did the same thing that you do with Shaman or the legendaries. You could have made these like an untradeable item and just made like a special, like you could have made these untradeable Pokemon and made like a special item for them that lets you change their stats. But you didn't do that. Instead, you made them tradable. So I need to ask you, where do you draw the line on what is acceptable as a one-time event item that is tradable or untradeable? Where do you draw the line? My personal thing is that if these are tradable, then the Pumpkin Vanities should also be tradable. It can't be that hard to like implement a system that would prevent people from farming the Pumpkin boss vanity. It really can't be, because you've already created the system for it. Like off the top of my head, an instant thing that I can think of is make the Pumpkin boss vanity a once per player or even once per account reward. Right? And make it untradeable for a year. Next Halloween rolls around, it unlocks the item. Okay? That's my thinking on that, is just an immediate way to fix the system. But they're clearly against it for some reason that is beyond our comprehension. I want to hear their logic because it very clearly doesn't make sense to me. As somebody who has played this since, well, for a while and has seen the first instance of the Pumpkin, I can safely say that it has never made sense that those Pumpkin rewards have been untradeable. Well, like I said, it made a little bit of sense back then because I understand they didn't want them to be farmed back then, except the player base was like infinitely smaller and I didn't really see anybody wanting to farm those because, again, the Pumpkin is like tedious to fight. But now with like the advent of them putting these in the game, they put these in the game. There's like Shaman that comes back once a year. That's tradable. The recent thing with the legendaries, those are tradable. They come back like, well, we don't actually know, I guess, because this is like a new system. there's like the particles from Pumpking that were farmable and are tradable, and people sell those particle Pokemon for good money. I just want to know where they draw the line. That's it. But yeah, that's gonna do it for me. I could rant in circles eternally about the Pumpking Vanities and why I think them being untradeable is dumb. I could rant forever about this. And I need to stop, so I'm going to end it here. I was thinking the next things that I do, I have like 2 potential ideas, and I might end up doing both of them. I was thinking about going over the history of an old troll tactic that used to be in the game that is no longer in the game, because there's a particular user command. If you put the user command in there without the slash, it gives you a very funny message, and I've thought about going over the history of that because I was there for that, and regretfully I did kind of take part in it a little bit. It was mostly harmless, it wasn't too bad, but there's that. I thought about going over something that I very distinctly remember, which is the rapid decrease in price of various items in the game. I remember a lot of items being expensive, and looking at their prices now is just like, I spent a decent amount of money on some of these items, and I am obviously not going to recoup that. I don't know. I'd have to figure out something else to sell. I'd have to figure out how to do that exactly. I thought about actually looking into doing like a small readout thing and then reading from that. I've never done that before. It would be a new thing. So I probably won't be particularly good at that because I'm usually more in the realm of kind of improving things as I go. And, you know, sometimes it doesn't work out quite well. I don't know, we'll see. We'll see where I end up landing on that. For now, though, I'm gonna go. I don't know what I'll do in the near future. Like, circling back to the Quake thing, I actually do have, like, 2 maps that I'm currently in the process of trying to get release ready. I probably need to get one of them tested properly, because I need to see if the player can skip the silver key door in a level. If they can, I probably am going to add something in relation to that. But yeah, that's what's on the docket right now. I might go back to the stuff that I was playing before, just to like fill time. But I mean, to be honest, those weren't really going anywhere anyways, in terms of like those were kind of in a standstill. I think Wolfenstein I mostly just want to finish to get it out of the way. Dead Cells is probably dead in the water at this point. I don't know, we'll see. And Stalker, as I've said, I have an idea for a thing. I want to finish finalizing the mod list before I go through with it. I want to make sure the mod list is as stable as I can get it, while also being somewhat visually appealing to look at. People have gotten a glimpse of what I've been working on through the new levels, like stuff that I was doing. The mods test for the new levels, that's the newest mod list at the moment, and it's not particularly stable. I'm still looking into it. But yeah, I'm gonna go now. I think I've spent enough time here. Stuff in the near future. I don't usually plan that far ahead, so whatever ends up happening.